Here's an explanation of everything that transpired prior to the series finale of The Handmaid's Tale, which had a dramatic conclusion in episode 9 of season 6. After the release of The Handmaid's Tale season 6, episode 9, the popular dystopian series on Hulu is almost over, with just one episode left. The most stunning death in the series occurs at the end of episode 9, and some explanation is needed for the main plot points and deaths. Episode 9 of Season 6 of The Handmaid's Tale is set immediately following June's assault on Commander Wharton and Serena Joy's wedding. The handmaids utilize the bombings as cover to reach Gilead's border after taking to the streets to murder the commanders. Unfortunately, Gileadian soldiers captured them. Mayday must therefore continue their plot to eliminate the remaining commanders and destroy Gilead while also finding a means to save June, Aunt Phoebe, and the handmaids from their executions. Do Nick, Lawrence, and Wharton all die in The Handmaid's Tale? Season 6, Episode 9, it appears that Nick, Commander Lawrence, Commander Wharton, and a number of other commanders have died in the last scene of The Handmaid's Tale Season 6, Episode 9. In the episode, Commander Lawrence is tasked by Mayday and the U.S. government with delivering a bomb onto an aircraft. Commander Wharton and the other high commanders will be transported by this aircraft to Washington, D.C., where they will organize Gilead's counterattack. Nick joins them just before the plane takes off, ensuring his demise as it flies into the night sky. As the plane explodes into a blaze, June sees the charred fragments of the aircraft fall in front of her. The bodies of Nick, Lawrence, and Wharton are not seen because the plane's explosion is viewed from a distance. The characters could hardly have survived this, even if it's generally not a good idea to assume a character is dead unless a body is visible. They would have been killed by the fall even if they had survived the initial blast, which is doubtful. Everyone on the plane is dead, barring supernatural intervention. Why Lawrence had to sacrifice his own life? Unfortunately, in order to eliminate the commanders, Commander Lawrence had to give his own life. Lawrence was supposed to load the bomb onto the aircraft and take off, but the other commanders show up as he gets to the hangar. They arrive early because they can't wait to go to DC. They placed Lawrence in a difficult predicament by asking him why he is there. He therefore chooses to risk his life by boarding the aircraft carrying the explosives. If Lawrence wanted the plan to work, there was nothing else he could do. They would not allow Lawrence to board the aircraft, drop off a briefcase, and then board again. That would have been suspicious enough. Lawrence was therefore forced to either board the plane with the bomb and remain there, killing himself, or not board the jet at all, missing his opportunity to murder the commanders. Lawrence may have concluded that he is doomed in any case because he already knows that the other commanders want him on the wall. He therefore made the decision to die a hero's death. Why Nick had to die and June couldn't save him? Knowing that Nick was destined to die, June had to watch him board the aircraft. She was obviously unsure about what to do as she hid behind the car. But she was unable to save him. She was unable to trust Nick following his significant transgression in The Handmaid's Tale Season 6, Episode 6. If she had warned him, he might have alerted the commanders about the device right away, because he surely wouldn't let them perish. The plan would have failed even if she had wanted to tell Nick about the device. The commanders would start to question Nick's whereabouts if he chose not to board the aircraft because he was aware of the device. It would be strange for them to depart without Nick, as it is evident that Commander Wharton was anticipating his arrival. That's not an option because Nick most likely wouldn't have boarded the aircraft knowing he was going to die. Nick's driver would be aware that he was complicit in the commander's deaths even if he chose not to board the aircraft, and it somehow took off without him. Why Serena gave up Wharton and the other commanders? Since Serena Joy informed the United States that they were traveling to Washington, D.C., she played a crucial role in the plot to assassinate the commanders. This may seem unexpected, but it means that she sacrificed her own husband. June persuaded her, nevertheless, by emphasizing what a terrible guy Commander Wharton is. Serena came to the realization that Wharton is not the right man to raise her son with June's assistance. Serena also understood that the only way to effect constructive change in Gilead was to forsake Wharton, and that reforms would never be implemented there. What the deaths mean for The Handmaid's Tale. Both Gilead and the U.S. will suffer as a result of these killings, which will have a significant effect on The Handmaid's Tale. On the one hand, Gilead has lost some of its strongest commanders. This is a huge setback for the nation. They still have a large number of commanders, though. Without Lawrence, the United States loses one of its largest moles, and the surviving higher-ups in Gilead will likely fill the power void. Remarkably, Nick's passing also ends the major love triangle in The Handmaid's Tale, ensuring June and Luke's union. What will happen in The Handmaid's Tale series finale? Nobody knows what will happen in the final episode of The Handmaid's Tale, which has just one episode left with all of these characters remaining. The episode will most likely follow Gilead as it recovers from the American invasion of the country. The episode might see June try to save Hannah again, as she hasn't done so yet. The characters may try to flee in the finale as Gilead scrambles to fortify its borders because they are still in Gilead. The Testaments will probably be set up extensively in the climax. Hulu has already revealed that it will be turning Margaret Atwood's novel, The Handmaid's Tale, into a television series, and The Testaments is the follow-up. In order to build up Gilead and a few other important characters for the following chapter, Aunt Lydia will likely receive a lot of attention in The Handmaid's Tale finale.